You Booked It, episode 72. Hey, entertainers and performers of the world. I'm your host, Dane Reese, and welcome to You Booked It, where I chat with inspiring entertainment professionals 7 days a week. By digging into their journey, we're going to discover everything you need to do to have a successful entertainment career. You know, because training usually skips that part about how to actually make your skills work for you in the real world. Fellow entertainers, my drive here at You Booked It is to share the inspiring and incredible journeys of successful entertainment professionals. We're here to support your journey. So go to youbookeditpodcast.com and join the You Booked It email community, where we dig deep into truly actionable things you can be doing right now to book that next audition, submission, or gig. If you enjoy this free podcast, please show your support and search for You Booked It on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app, where you can subscribe so you don't miss an episode, leave a rating, and review. And now, let's do this. All right, let's get started. I am excited to introduce my guest today, Malachi Durant. Are you ready for this, Malachi?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Malachi was born in Columbus, Ohio, but was raised in Wisconsin when he started performing. He moved to Las Vegas in August of 2013 to pursue his dream of being a performer. And in just 4 years, Malachi has been in 5 major production shows, such as Showstoppers, Cirque du Soleil's One Night, One Drop, Vegas the Show, and the Latin Grammys with Will Smith. Malachi was also a featured singer on Royal Caribbean cruise ships, as well as a featured dancer/character in Cirque du Soleil's O Show. He would like to thank his mother, supporters, and most importantly, God, for everything that is and what is yet to come. Malachi, that is a quick intro of who you are and what you've done, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Fill in the gaps and a little bit more about what you do as a professional in the entertainment industry.
Yes, yes. So, like you said, yeah, I did come from Columbus, Ohio, is where I was born, and I moved to Wisconsin when I was 11. And I started dancing in Wisconsin, actually not until I was 20 years old. And then in 2013, someone came to me and said, "Hey, let's move to LA." And I was like, "Okay, cool, I'm down. I want to dance anyway." But then that turned into, LA is really expensive. How about we move to Vegas? And
Yeah.
so I was like, I've never been to Vegas. You know what? Fine, sure, whatever. So we moved to Vegas in 2013, and I had no car. I had only $400 in my pocket, and I moved to Vegas. Thankfully, I was able to actually get my first show, which was a magic show, my first week living in Vegas. And then after all of that, here I am today, having the opportunity to have as much of all of the things that I've had with hard work and everything like that.
Brilliant. I love it. And let's move on to this section here. And Malachi, look, I am a sucker for a good quote. What is your favorite quote you'd like to share with everyone?
My favorite quote is, "I want to inspire people. I want someone to look at me and say, because of you, I didn't give up." I'm not sure who exactly said that quote, but I heard of that quote, and in my head, for me to work hard to do something and for someone to say to me, "Malachi, I heard your story. I saw what you've done. It made me want to pursue what I want to do." That to me makes me feel I'm going the right direction. You know what I mean? And I've had people say that to me. And it is the greatest thing when I hear of my friends or people who have followed me to say to me, "Malachi, because of you, I saw what you've done and I quit my job to go pursue what I love to do." And oh my gosh, that is like the greatest feeling ever. So that quote keeps me going. It keeps me motivated.
I love that. That is such a good quote. And you're right. That is such an amazing feeling. But what I like even more than that is that I think on the surface, you might hear that and you think, oh, what are the accomplishments that Malachi has done in his life? What shows, what highlights has he done? And sure, that's part of it, but it's so much more.
Yeah.
It's who you are, it's who you embody, it's the way you conduct yourself, it's the way you put yourself in uncomfortable situations and figure out how to make it work.
Yep.
That is really what I think that whole quote encompasses. And you're right, it is such a fulfilling thing to inspire someone on that level.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Love it. And let's move on to this next section. So, Malachi, of course, you are an entertainer. I am an entertainer. And I think that you'd agree that this industry
Oh
can
my.
be one of the most subjective, brutally honest, personally emotional
Yeah.
industries in existence.
Yep.
And you know as well as I
Yep.
that in order to create and have a successful career in this industry like you're having now takes a lot of dedication and hard work. And while,
Yes.
yeah, of course, there is an outrageous amount of fun doing what we do, being on stage, there are also our fair share of obstacles, challenges, and failures we are going to experience and we're going to have to move forward through.
Yes.
So tell us, what is one key challenge, obstacle, or failure you've experienced in your career, and how did you come out the other side better because of it?
I will say one thing, a couple, well, obviously a couple things, but one thing I will say is when I first moved to Vegas, I got my first show in a week. I was like, man, okay, all right, well, I must be good at this, you know what I'm saying? And then in my second audition, booked it. I was booking all of these things like right off the bat. And I remember going to LA for audition, and I got cut in the first round. This was after booking quite a few things here in Vegas that I was very blessed and I had the opportunity to do. And I got cut in the first round at this LA audition, and I was like, okay, all right. So, and most of the time I would drive to LA and then drive back right after the audition. And being cut kind of put me down a little bit because that was kind of my first no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then after that, going back and forth to LA, I got told no like a bazillion times. I'm probably in triple digits for how many times I got told no. And then there was times here even I would be booking all of these things, and all of a sudden you get a call, your show's closing, don't come to the shows tomorrow. I'm sorry, what? So, my
Yeah.
show my show's
Oh, the
closing.
Vegas life.
Yeah. You get told your show's closing, and then you get told no to all of these gigs, and then you get told that you have a bad name in the industry, and then you get told all of these things, and you keep all of these no's. I got told no a lot. And the one thing that I really got told no is I auditioned for Cirque du Soleil 14 times before I got my first job with Cirque.
Wow.
14 times. And for me to get told 14 times and get told my 15th time I get told yes, my first opportunity for me to be a featured dancer on a Cirque du Soleil stage, that's huge. Okay. So I had to work towards that. I had to get told all of these times no, because that pushed me to keep going. And I surrounded myself with the right people who also pushed me to say, okay, Malachi, just keep going. I promise, keep going. I've had friends see me cry. I've called my mom crying. I've come to my brother crying. I don't know if this is right for me. Like, I keep getting told no, like, I don't get it. Maybe if I'm not good enough, maybe I should be doing something else. And they all told me the same thing. Just keep going. Just keep going. Malachi, just audition one more time. Audition one more time. That one more time was 10th time. And then there was the 11th time. And then there was the 14th. And then there was the 15th. 14 times. And the 15th time is when I got told yes for Cirque. And there's been times I've driven to LA and having been told no and had to sleep in my car because I didn't know anyone. I was still kind of new. Yeah. So my first time for Cirque, for the Cirque du Soleil, my first time auditioning was in 2014. And I did not get Cirque until 2019. So in between 2014 and 2019, I'm auditioning for private auditions, general auditions. General auditions is 2 days long. Each one's 2 days long. And video submissions. All of these times trying to get into Cirque. And that's just Cirque. That's not including auditions for artists, auditions for music videos, auditions for movies, auditions for shows. That does not including that. That's just Cirque. It took me 14 times. So in this industry, I have been told no a lot, and many artists have been told no a lot. But it is important just to keep going. No is only for a growth, in my opinion. No is not the end, it's for a growth. So when you get told no, you say to yourself, all right, what do I need to work on? I messed up in the choreo here, so I need to go to classes more, maybe work on my choreography so I can pick it up so I don't mess up. Okay, they said that I need to work on performing. So what do? You go to classes, work on the performance aspect of when you're in class. That's what class is for. It's not for videos. It's not for views. It's not for content for your social media. It's for you to grow. That's what class is for, in my opinion. So that's what I had to do. So each no was a growth for me.
I love that.
Yeah, 14 times, man. 14 times took me just to get to Cirque. So it's a good story. And I love telling it to people to encourage other people as well to keep going.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And you're right. So many people often discount how hard it can be to get into shows, how much work it takes
Yeah.
to to get to what people see on the outside.
Yeah.
You can look through your Instagram feed, you can talk to you real quick about what you're doing. You could see people on stage, and you don't see the work behind
No.
it. And behind every single success is an outrageous
Yeah.
amount of work, and to never discount that. But like you said, you got to keep moving forward.
Yep.
As long as you keep moving forward, you haven't failed.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
The failure comes from you giving up.
Exactly.
You're gonna hit failure a lot.
For sure. Well, let's move on
Yes.
to this next section. And this is a time that I like to call your spotlight moment. That one moment in time you realized, yes, I am going to be an entertainer for a living. Or maybe it was, yes, this is what I need to be doing as an entertainer. Tell us about that.
So in college, this is funny. In college, I actually did something called show choir. Show choir is typically a big group of people who are doing singing and dancing and choreography that is in sync. It's like super clean typically, and the vocals got to be on point and everything. I remember I had a solo. This is before I I didn't even know you could do performing as a career. I really didn't, unless you're like a pop artist, you know? So
Right.
I didn't know much about musical theater. I didn't know much about Vegas entertainment, LA, nothing. I didn't really know none of that. All I know is someone gave me a solo. It was a big solo, first big one. It was from a show called Catch Me If You Can, musical theater show. And I had the opener solo. When I sang it in front of this biggest crowd, it was 2,000 people was my biggest crowd at this time.
Wow.
2,000 people. And I was like, 2,000 people. Oh my gosh. I was freaking out. I was nervous. People were like, Malachi, you're going to be okay. It's going to be good. And I was like, oh man, I don't know, you guys. Like, I just want to, do well. And I'm just really nervous. And the curtain went up. I don't know what happened. All I know is when the curtain went up, it was game time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then I sang my song the best I could do it. And there was choreography I had to learn throughout this thing. And I was the only one singing, and everyone was backup singers. At the end of that, and I heard the crowd cheer, I said, I need to do this. This is what I need to do. I was literally born to be a performer. This is it. You know what I mean? At that point was when I realized that I was born to be a performer. I heard a quote before, and it said that there's two most important days in your life. The first one is the day that you were born, and the second day is the reason why you were born. And after that, I realized that the second one is that day is when I realized why I was born, was to perform.
I love that. I love that story. And you're right. I love it when you have that feeling when you're opening a brand new show, first time doing a track, something like that, and that anticipation waiting for the thing to start. And then when that curtain goes up, man, I love that
Yeah.
game time, that game time
Yep.
focus. You're
Game
like,
time.
whew, I'm in it. And I love
Yep.
it.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's piggyback on that question and let's talk about your number one booked it moment. Walk us through that day, the auditions and callbacks, if they happen to be a part of it. What was going on in your life, and what about that moment makes it your favorite booked it moment?
My favorite booked it moment would definitely be the character called Le Travesti in O, the Cirque du Soleil's O show at the Bellagio. Like I said, I auditioned for Cirque 14 times. Now, during this 14 times, this means general auditions, which, like I said, is 2 days long each. And then there's private auditions, which typically they will call you to the theater and you would do choreography from the show, and then you would present it in front of the directors of the show. And then you have video submissions where they would ask you to send in videos of different choreo, and you would have to send it back to them. Yeah. In this process, this was audition 13, and they sent me an email out of the blue. Like, I was like in an RV with some friends when I got this email, and it said, Malachi Durant, we're interested in you possibly being a character, a dancer in O as an on-call / part-time, which is funny because the full-time character that I was submitting for was legit sitting across from me when I got this email. So
Really?
yeah, he was literally sitting across from me, and I was like, in my head, I was like, oh no, I'm getting this, possibly to replace him. And I felt bad, you know what I'm saying? Because he's my friend, and I was like, okay. Oh no, it said on call. Okay, whew, cool. And I was like, hey, are they looking for an on-call for your position? He was like, it's about time they need an on-call. And I was like, okay, cool. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, it's a water show. It's prestigious people. You know, they come in with suits. It's the most expensive show to buy a ticket in Cirque du Soleil, right? And I'm a hip
Yeah.
hop dancer. So I didn't think that I would be in a show like, oh, I thought I was going to be in a show like MJ, which is MJ hip hop, loud, in your face. Cool. I was all about it. And so they sent me the please send in material for the director to view. And I was like, all right, cool. So I asked my friend, what do you think they're looking for? He's like, they're looking for just just be you in the video. I was like, I don't know, because I'm hip hop. So I studied the character. I looked up videos of what the character does. The original guy was contemporary jazz dancer, twirls, leaps, and I don't have that. All right. I got a couple pirouettes, on a good day, and like maybe a good 90-degree kick, you know what I'm saying? So, so I was like, I don't know. So I studied the character and I looked it up, and I said, okay, I'm going to give the best type of technique, quote unquote, that I can probably do. I made it a video. I sent it to them, and they were like, yeah, okay, Malachi, we see that you've done your homework, okay, but we want to see you. We want to see what you do. What I do is hip hop, okay? So I'm a strong, big dancer, is what some people would describe me as, yeah? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna give you me. So I made another video. Now keep in mind, they literally just gave me a description, and I had to create my own solo, yeah? So they said this character is strong, commands the stage, and has a royalty presence to him. Go. And I was like, what? Okay. So I had to conduct my own solo, and I had to ask my friends for help. It had to be 1 minute. The second video, I did me. I was me. I chose a hip hop song that I could hit. My friend Lico helped me out. We put together this solo, and I was like, this is what I got. There you go. And legit, it was maybe 4 days later, I was at the Rock Studio for Dance, and I got a 702 call. Hello, this is Sarah Davidson from Cirque du Soleil. I was like, yes. And my heart is like, boom, 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 boom,
Oh
boom, like
man.
beating
Yeah.
really hard, because I don't know what's going to go on. She's like, so the directors have chosen to go with you, and they're going to have you come in for fittings, and we're going to give you a call next week to set up everything to get you started.
Oh wow.
I'm getting goosebumps telling you about it right now. I'm trying not to cry, because it was literally like I cried. Like I cried as soon as I got off the phone. I called my mom. Mom cried. I called my girlfriend. She cried. Wait, I came back home. I told my roommates. Even my roommates cried, man, because legit, come on, man. 14 times, and the 15th time you get told yes. 14, man.
That is an amazing story.
And when I got that call, it was such a relief and an honor, dude. Like, your first Cirque job is you're a featured dancer, and you have to dance on this stage by yourself with water. Yeah. So that's nerve wracking. You know what I mean? For them to be like, we think that he can do that. In my head, I didn't think so. I didn't see myself as a featured dancer, but they did. And I think that there's going to be times you won't be ready for something, and you just got to make yourself ready. You know what I mean? When it comes to entertainment, you might not think you can be the lead singer of something, but then these people do. So then you just got to step up and just make it happen. You know what I mean? And to me, that's what happened. They said, we think that you can do this. And I said, yep. And I'm going to make it happen.
That's amazing.
I'm going to make it happen. So yeah, that was my moment. Definitely.
That's amazing. And you're right, because to jump into Cirque du Soleil's most successful show they've ever produced,
Yep.
and then also not as a generalist, as a featured character is
Yeah.
amazing.
And
What an accomplishment.
There's one dancer in the show, and that was my track.
That is
It was my track.
amazing.
Yeah.
Love
it was
that story.
Definitely a blessing.
Well, let's take a moment to talk about the present. What projects are you working on now? What are you looking forward to? And look, it's a crazy time. We are amidst this global pandemic. How
Yeah.
do you see the entertainment industry moving forward in the next couple of years?
Honestly, in the next couple of years, I see a lot of different creations coming out. I feel like a lot of artists are using these times to create. And I feel like a lot of people are going to come out with different projects, different shows, and different things, hopefully to open up doors for different entertainers. Me specifically, I actually been working on my acting. So acting's always been in my back pocket, but I actually just filmed recently my first feature. It was called Six Wheels of Hell, and it was a thriller slash horror type movie. And it was with Evan Allen. Evan Allen. I get him mixed up because my girlfriend's name is Evan Keys. Okay, so his name, yeah, sorry. His name is Evan Allen. And he's doing this movie here in Las Vegas, actually. And it was my first time. It was with Quantum Arc Media. It was cool because I actually got to act with my girlfriend, Evan. So yeah, it was my first feature film, and we did the movie, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get into acting more. So I've been starting. I'm gonna start taking classes here soon. So just to have acting as well in my back pocket for things that I like to do and love to do. Yeah, that's what I think is going to be happening with me and what I've been working on and what I think is going to happen in the future.
Brilliant. Well, let's move on to one of my favorite sections in the interview. I call it the Grease Lightning Round. I am going to ask you a handful of questions. I want you to answer them as quickly and concisely as possible,
Mhm.
one after another. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
All right. First question. What was the one thing holding you back from committing to a career as an entertainer?
A failure. One thing held me back
Totally.
was failure slash being good enough. Yeah, that was one thing held me
Yeah.
back.
And second question. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Best piece of advice I've ever received is literally keep going. I mean, I know you hear that a lot. Keep going, but honestly, that is what you have to do. Like I said, failure and not being good enough was the things that maybe held me a little bit, but it was the people who I surrounded myself with that told me to keep going. Yeah.
Love it. And the third question, what is something that is working for you now? Or if you'd like to go pre COVID, what was working for you before our industry went on pause?
Okay, I can answer both. The one thing that is working for me now is to stay ready. Yeah, to stay ready. So when
Yeah.
everything comes back up, you don't want people to have you for something and then maybe your fitness isn't as up as it was before pre COVID, or you didn't have your dance reel, or you didn't have all of these things that you can present to people. So stay ready. And then pre COVID, my thing was to stay in people's faces, no matter if they hired you or not. I would send my stuff to people, companies here, and say, hey, I'm Malachi Durant. This is my dance reel. This is my resume. This is my headshot. That you might not hear back from them. You might not. And that's okay. But the one thing is you stayed in their face. So when they do need you or need someone, they'll think of, oh, yeah, Malachi keeps annoying us. Let's just finally use him for once. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
just stay in people's faces. That's what I did in the beginning.
absolutely. You have to stay front of mind.
Yeah,
And here's the deal, it is impossible to get booked if people don't know who you are.
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, it's as simple as that. So
yeah,
make sure people know who you are and you'll get booked.
yeah, exactly. I agree.
And the fourth question, what is your best resource, whether that is a book, a movie, a YouTube video, a podcast, maybe a piece of technology that you found is helping your career right now?
One thing definitely helping my career right now is to watching something called Motiversity. It's on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel, and I try to listen to motivational speakers or motivational stories to keep me going. And I literally listen to a video every day to help me keep going. Definitely, the three people that motivate me the most is Will Smith, The Rock, and Kevin Hart. If you hear those three stories of how they became where they are today, you can't help but be motivated. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love all that stuff. And you're right. You are a product of what you put into your brain and what you say, right?
Yes.
Because you keep reinforcing that stuff in the way you're thinking. And by putting good stuff in, you're going to naturally become that as well.
Yes.
And you know who I just discovered? I don't know if you've heard of him. Do you know who David Goggins is?
David Goggins. Yes, he's the guy. He's the Navy SEAL guy. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I
I
just
just discovered him the other day.
yeah, I started his book.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just picked it up. I'm gonna listen to it here.
Yes.
But my God, the stuff that he's got to say,
Oh
he
my
is so
gosh.
in your face. I love it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Cool. Well, the fifth question, if you had to start your career from scratch, but
Yeah.
you still had all the knowledge and experience you've collected from your career in this industry, what would you do or not do? Would you do anything differently or would you keep it the same?
I wouldn't have gone to school, college. After high school, if I had the knowledge that I have now, I would have just gone straight to LA. straight to LA.
Totally.
But I wouldn't change
Yep.
anything now. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had that choice, great. But I don't regret any choices I've made. Yeah.
Yeah, well
So,
said.
yeah.
And the last question. What is the golden nugget knowledge drop you've learned from your successful career in this industry you'd like to leave with everyone?
Is to not give up and don't take no as failure. Yeah. So even though you will get told no in audition, that doesn't mean that you failed as a performer. Even though you'll go audition for Cirque, you get cut in the first round. That doesn't mean that you're not good enough. That means you go home, work on your craft, and come back again. Who knows? You might make it to the second round and then get cut. The third round, then get cut. But guess what? You made it even further than you did before. And that's the only thing that's important. Okay. I've gone to many auditions and maybe I've gotten cut in the first round. Went to the same audition and made it to the end because I went home and I worked on it. Yeah. The one thing I can say is don't take no as failure and don't give up.
I love that. And to wrap up this interview, Malachi, it is time to give yourself a plug. Where can we find you? How do our listeners connect with you? Is there anything you want to promote?
Yes, the one place to pay attention to what I'm doing is on Instagram. You can catch me at KYI_D13. You can catch me on Instagram. That's the one I'm on the most. I'm not really on Facebook or anything else. But yeah, Instagram. Just keep track, man. Got some things coming up. So I'm trying to stay busy and trying to keep creating for you guys.
Beautiful. And for everyone listening out there, I have put the link to his Instagram in the description of this episode. Malachi, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been
Yes.
great to have you on.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us today. My one call to action for you is to go to youbookeditpodcast.com and join our free email community where we dig deep into a continually growing resource of truly actionable things you can be doing right now to help advance your entertainment career. Don't miss an episode. We have a new guest 7 days a week. Search for You Booked It on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app and subscribe today. All the best to you. We'll see you tomorrow.